I am, by the way, I'm out of my NASDAQ position, guys. I am all out. NASDAQ closed out for a profit. So if I pull up my brokerage account, you can see I am no longer in QQQ. Let me make sure I unlock trading just to show you. So no trades on. We closed out yesterday after price broke through this level. I went ahead and got out of my my trailing stop for a profit on the Qs or the NASDAQ trade that I was in. We will be watching today to see if there's opportunity for another entry. I want to talk indices. I want to talk gold. We're going to talk dollar trading still strong, right? And this is more of the current status with the dollar. The problem, if you're a dollar bear, is that support has been incredibly resilient. Every time price pulls back to the support level, we see a bounce. And lo and behold, here comes today. We're trading off of the lows with some vengeance. What is this doing to the price of gold? Well, you would think it's getting crushed, right? Well, gold is kind of holding its own. However, still big barriers here around the 1970 mark where price has really struggled to get above. I think gold is at a really important point. We may hear from Frank here on this stream in just a little bit. He pointed out that off the daily chart, we had this longer term upward trend in gold, that the lower extremes were kind of being tested recently, but we found what seems to be a longer term bottom on the gold market. I've been a little bit more hesitant personally, as it does seem like we are likely to see a more than expected hawkish Fed, though we saw some of that forecast give back a little yesterday, which gave some bullishness on gold. For price action's sake, I'm interested in seeing gold break above this 1970 mark with some vengeance. We tried here. You can see this wick right here tells us a story. The wick here shows us that sellers were strong enough to hold this level yet again and push price back off of those highs. What we need to see, if you're a bull, in my opinion, is a breakout, capture this area, push off of it, and start to form those higher lows.
Getting a nice tan out here. How you doing?
Dude, I'm getting cooked by the sun and by this Euro Yen trade I'm stuck in. I took a sell trade.
Dude, you need the edge finder.
The edge finder?
Yeah, if you had the edge finder, you would have known that smart money was actually long.
Really? So you're telling me I was selling when smart money was long, and if I had the edge finder, I would have known that?
Exactly.
Pass me one of those edge finders. Let me get one of those. Get our biggest discount of the summer. Get access to the Edge Finder, our MT4 and MT5 softwares, indicators, and robots, all in a single 20% off discount offer. Take advantage using the links and promo codes down below in the description.
If a real trend is going to form, guys, you're going to notice it, right? It's going to be hard to miss. Dollar weakness would have to come in. We're going to have to see some reversal to this strong downward trend. On the flip side, here's the bear case. Sellers, actually, let's do something real quick, guys. In the chat, what are you guys currently looking at in terms of gold? Are you bullish or are you bearish? Comment real quick where you're at with gold here. Of course, gold is a popular topic on the channel as always. We've got 400 viewers in here, by the way. I want to see that chat light up really quick. Give us some feedback. Everybody in the chat, chime in. Are you bullish or are you bearish when it comes to gold right now? I'll give you my take on the bearish case. I'm not necessarily selling gold myself. I don't have a trade on. I'm watching this thing closely, but I like to cover it, of course, for people who are more interested in it. If you're watching this off of the 4-hour chart, of course, we've got a major support level and possibly even a little bit of a Wyckoff spring concept here, where price briefly trades below support and shoots back to the upside. By the way, guys, thank you for commenting. We've got some bulls in the house and we've got bears. So a little bit of mixed sentiment here, which I think is probably fair in this price action. What I would say would be pretty objectively bearish would be if we come back to these lows and again break through them. If we break through the lows, sellers, I think, have recaptured this level of support, the support zone, and we have to address that sellers would be strong in that case. That would be, in my point, just a no-go for anything bullish. There's just no way I can justify in my price action approach buys when we're breaking structure to the downside. For bulls out there, what do we need to see? Again, we're kind of range bound recently. We've struggled to put any sort of higher highs. This is our big contender, right? Looking left on this chart, we see a major point of resistance here. You could get cheeky and you could say, well, what about this area? That's maybe a start, but I think real bullish pressure comes if we start to break out higher. This is not something I'm talking about trading in the next 15 minutes. This is something I'm talking about watch for the next few days, because a bigger trend could form either direction on gold. And that is part of the reason. We just had our numbers, guys, by the way. I'm sorry for missing that initial reaction. We have unemployment claims coming out here in just a moment. Gold is reacting already. We're seeing gold shoot to the upside, which could suggest that we had more than expected unemployment claims come in. We are still waiting on that number to see. If anybody has it, please feel free to share it in the chat. When you do have it, there it comes, 232,000 unemployment. So this is a tick up from our previous. So coming in as forecasted, just about at 232,000 unemployment claims, compared to previously we saw 229,000 unemployment claims. An interesting report here this morning and causing a little bit of bullishness on the camp of gold. And again, price action, let's talk price action. We need to see this thing break out, in my opinion, before we can justify any sort of long side opportunities on this gold market, which has been pushed down by strong economic numbers out of the United States recently. Again, we've got to see that sort of reverse, both on the fundamental and the technical side, before I can justify getting long on the gold market.
We're also looking at another expected drop in PMI, just coming out at 10. I think it's right here. It's 47 forecasted, below 50 again. So just not very promising economic data. We have, on top of that, falling bond yields. The 10 and 2-year took a big drop today. Low expectations on NFP. If we scroll down, expectations came way down to 193,000. Last month was 250, so just very stark difference in expectations this time. So even if we see a beat in expectations, it looks like what we're going to get is likely a lower number than 253,000. So another contraction. We're expected another slight tick up in unemployment. Just overall, it looks like not very robust as we thought it was. Last week and a couple weeks ago, we thought, the economy was doing much better, so the dollar was rising, the debt ceiling crisis was underway. That just got resolved through the House, so it's going to the Senate now. They're going to vote on that. A lot of pressure was alleviated. I'm just kind of looking at bearish dollar overall. I don't have like a strict entry on a short or a long here, but I'm more so bullish gold, and I re-entered this morning on this. There was a pullback overnight, and then it came back up to the recent price as it was yesterday. So take another shot, bounce off that trend line. Let me pull up gold just to show you what I'm looking at.
And gold, Frank, also just to ask you a question while you pull up the chart here of gold. We were talking yesterday off camera after the stream ended. We were talking a lot about how we saw a flip-flop yesterday in terms of commentary that was said that changed outlooks midday for the upcoming June 14th meeting, which of course, when we talk dollar, it's all about, as Gary mentioned, we've got economic numbers to pay attention to, but also we've of course got what the Fed's plan is. And there was some commentary yesterday that was not as hawkish as expected. What happened with that, the Fed Watch tool that we talked about yesterday? Fill us in on that.
Right. So I believe his name was Philip Jefferson, one of the governors of the Fed. He basically said in his statement yesterday that hiking rates in June might be doing more damage than good at this point, and they need to, or not they need, but he's suggesting in his opinion that a pause would help them assess the data and look at what's going to happen with inflation. Last report for CPI, we saw prices come down, but we had a little sticky core inflation. So I guess it's just looking at what interest rates are going to be doing in the longer term, because immediately they're not always going to react the same way. It's a little lagged, but I think what he was saying was mostly dovish, at least for this month in June. He didn't recommend that there would be no more hikes overall, but he did say that, taking a break here and letting things play out and see what happens to inflation is probably the best idea.
Where we currently sit with the NASDAQ, I'm no longer in my trade. I was in one for a while. I traded it long, caught a pullback and rode it up from last week. I was able to catch just this brief retest here. It was probably one of my better trades. I wish all my entries looked like this, but it was a rare occasion where it was just the perfect entry, and the trade just kept going. And now the question is, people have been asking me, Nick, are you looking to get back into the NASDAQ? And similar to yourself, I am bullish on it. The trend looks great, but when you have something like this that's just shot to the moon like this, a lot of people get in trouble chasing, right? They go, very heavy on a buy here, and they're like, it can't stop. And sure enough, it can stop. And so when that pullback does occur, I don't want to be, in trouble. I'd rather be, either not in a trade and it goes off without me, and that sucks, but it is what it is. And instead, the only way I do get into a trade is by patiently waiting for a retest of this upward trend. Perhaps somewhere around the 13,800, I'd be willing to look at a little bit closer this NASDAQ idea. And again, off the 4-hour chart, that is a pullback into an area like this, where I think we have pretty clear levels of past resistance that could actually act as support. Tom and I talk very often about broken levels of resistance turn potential support. I've got that 13,900 on my radar for NAS, but as Tom pointed out, that's a ways away. He's got the moving average 20. I've got my support zone, both of them far away from current prices here. Guys, I do also want to make sure we don't miss it. We have ISM manufacturing numbers coming out, PMI, in about 45 seconds. All right, and numbers should be coming out here momentarily on the new candle. Here it goes. Dollar driving lower still. Euro pushing higher. NASDAQ seeing a push, trading at 14,285. Here goes gold trading up, 1976 printing here. And there goes that NASDAQ. Look at that strength coming in yet again. Dollar weakness. NAS is up. Gold trading around 1976 here. Let's see if we get some numbers. 46.9. This shows further contraction in manufacturing PMI. This is what the market was looking for, and so the market is happy about that, right? So we're seeing NASDAQ trading higher, gold a little bit of a relief rally here this morning, euro trading higher, dollar giving back some of those gains, and wow, what a move. Tom, what's your reaction to all this? Any charts that you're paying attention to?
Yeah, euro US dollar was looking at a trade here when we got a break of this structure on the H1 retest to take price back up to here. And just the fact, I mentioned it to Frank, just the fact that US dollar news earlier on was far better than expected, and the market just ignored it. The market wanted US dollar weakness almost. And now we've got this figure that is worse than expected, then I'm just going to see some short-term US dollar weakness, I think. Going to see some real retraces on these, on these US dollar pairs that were heavily oversold, heavily oversold. So I'm expecting, a bit of a retrace on a lot of these US dollar pairs.
Hey, guess what? I just found a video made just for you. Click this video to help with your trading, and thanks for watching.